This podcast is part of the It Was a Thing on TV podcast network.
Hello, Mike here. As you probably know, I edit most of the episodes, not every episode, but a vast majority of them, probably about 80 to 90% of them. Well, this episode is going to be a little bit different because my computer decided to just totally take a crap on itself on Saturday night. So I lost all my sound effects. I lost all the files. I even created a new open, which I was able to recover thanks to doing a little workaround with my phone and stuff like that. So if this episode doesn't sound like your normal episode, you understand why. All the uh-ohs are gone. The John Davidsons are gone. Even like the transitional stuff at the end of the episode, the coming up next time, that's gone. So this might be a little bare bones, at least for starters. I'm sorry. Technology sucks sometimes. Let's go on with the show. Let's see how this works out. An anthology on the bad, the short-lived and forgotten shows and events in television history. You are listening to It Was a Thing on TV.
Time is up. You ran into trouble.
Episode 583. Submission OT14 Beta. It's Your Move. It's Your Move aired on the National Broadcasting Company from September 26th of 1984 to February 23rd of 1985 for 18 episodes. Okay, so we covered this in early 2020. This was one of our earliest episodes. But at the time, I think we only had one or two episodes on YouTube back then.
And some clips, because I do believe at that time we did have the entire bit with the Dregs of Humanity, which we'll get to a little bit later.
Yes. So, Chico, can you tell us the background on how this TV show came about?
Michael G. Boy and Ron Levitt, writing team for, I guess, what was then Embassy Television, but is now Sony Pictures Television. They wanted a star vehicle for Jason Bateman because he was doing killer numbers for Silver Spoons. They relied on that old formula: kids smart, adults dumb. But what if you have a smart adult to outwit the smart kid? That is the premise behind It's Your Move, which centers on young Matthew Burton, a scam artist who lives with his mom and his sister. His mom meets the new neighbor, takes a shine to the new neighbor, and it turns out the new neighbor is every bit the whizziker that Matthew is. The series revolves around both of them trying to one-up each other.
Now, Mike, I know how much you love Married with Children, right?
Oh, yes.
Well, not only do we have the creators of Married with Children involved in this, we also have one of the supporting stars from Married with Children in this.
Yes, we've got David Garrison, who played Steve Rhodes, the first husband of Marcy Darcy Rhodes. Yeah, he was there for, I think, 3 seasons, 3.5 seasons.
Yeah, because didn't his character go on to become a park ranger?
Yes, and I was just going to mention that a couple of times in later episodes, later seasons, I want to say like seventh season, eighth season, ninth season, he returned as a park ranger. One time because he stole like a really rare egg of some bird, like an endangered species, and he was actually on the run from like the FBI. But then another time, Marcy and Jefferson were at a car wash, and there happens to be David Garrison's character. There's Steve Rhodes, and he's like all dressed up really nice, and he's wearing a tuxedo or a really fancy suit, looking like $1 million. And what it turns out is he was actually the chauffeur for somebody. So he's driving like this town car, or touting he's driving a town car. Yeah, it's not his. He's the chauffeur for his boss or whoever he's working for.
That is fantastic. Okay, so we have Jason Bateman playing the schemer Matthew Burton, and we have David Garrison playing his equally witty neighbor, Norman Lamb. So, Chico, who do we have in the rest of the cast, the remaining three names?
We have as Matthew's mom, Eileen, Karen Kay. Don't know if she was best known for anything except for, I believe we talked about her in Blansky's Beauties, which means she would have appeared in the follow-up, Who's Watching the Kids. You can hear my eyes rolling as I say this, by the way.
Wait a second. No, Chico, we did talk about her in the past. We talked about somebody named Rennie Temple. This wasn't that long ago. This is probably in the last 4 to 6 months. And I mentioned that Rennie Temple, who was one of the co-hosts of a game show pilot called Write Your Own Ticket back in 1973, he's been married to Karen Kay since 1980, almost 45 years, 45 years in November.
Wow, that's like the equivalent of like 200 years in Hollywood terms.
That really, no joke, is like seriously long. You're absolutely right about that. But I know we've talked about her in the past somewhere, besides being Rennie Temple's wife. She was on 2 episodes of Hotel. Not saying that's where we saw her, but that may be where we saw her when we did every open to Hotel Ever, or every guest on Hotel Ever. And that might be where I brought up Rennie Temple and the Write Your Own Ticket thing. So There we go. We solved a little mystery there.
And then we have, as Matthew's sister Julie Burton, Trisha Cast. We did talk about her. She was one of the Bears on the Bad News Bears.
Yep.
Which means she was on a baseball team with Christoph St. John.
And Corey Feldman.
But as far as I know, she never danced with Corey Feldman.
But also, and Greg's going to appreciate this, don't forget the manager of that baseball team.
Oh, Jack Warden.
From Crazy Like a Fox, which also reruns on MeTV Plus nowadays. How about that?
And the sober companion of the team, Catherine
that?
Hicks.
Oh, I forgot Catherine Hicks was on the Bad News Bears TV show.
And rounding out the cast as Lou Donatelli, Matthew's sort of scam mentor, Ernie Sabella, Pumbaa from The Lion King, and also Twinkie from Perfect Strangers, and Leon Carosi from 6 episodes of Saved by the Bell that one summer.
That one summer that had freaking Leah Remini in it.
And since this is something that we can add 5+ years later since we originally covered the show, Ernie Sabella has a card in the Cheers Rittenhouse set. And I happen to be holding it right here. When I opened my case of Cheers back in April or so, I got an Ernie Sabella autograph card.
It looks nice.
It looks
real
sexy.
nice.
It looks sexy. Yeah.
Does that not look like a sexy card? Okay,
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
not a sexy. Okay, maybe not a sexy. Maybe I should just drop the whole thing because I don't want to say. Okay, maybe not a sexy card, maybe a sexy man, but no, I'm not. I'm not touching either of those. So, isn't it just a nice, beautiful? Look at that autograph. Look at that.
Yeah.
Just
And
very flowing and very crisp. I mean, you can actually see like every letter. They don't do
Oh yeah.
autographs like this nowadays.
like,
No.
and you know what? I'll be the one to say it. Look at the punum on that guy. He's got a nice little face.
And speaking of good penmanship, there you go. This is what I got in the mail today. I got a Marsha Warfield card from the Cheers Rittenhouse set because I've been thinking about getting it for a while, but as I told the two gentlemen before the show, over the last like 2 or 3 weeks, Marsha Warfield has been popping up a ton in my threads feed. And it's like, I need to get that card. I've been meaning to get it. I didn't get it for my case. And, Greg said earlier, Mike loves his Married with Children. You also know what I love just as much as Married with Children, and that's
Night
some
Court.
good Night Court. Exactly. Once they got Marsha Warfield on board, you had stability. First two bailiffs, they died in the first 3 years.
No.
Bring Marsha Warfield aboard, you're going for 6 more seasons, baby.
Yeah. And also, I think this is the second autograph card you have from somebody from Night Court because you have that Richard Mull Smallville card.
Yeah, I bought that January of 2023 when the Night Court revival started at NBC, and that was like 10 months before he passed away.
Yeah.
And I know, speaking of autograph cards and that, John Larroquette, he has cards in the Star Trek set, but those cards are like, not even joking, well over $100. And then Harry Anderson, he had an autograph card in Leaf Pop Century like around 2013 or 2014. Good luck finding that because he's not signing anymore for obvious reasons. That's just ridiculously expensive. I don't know if Charlie Robinson had a card, and I don't think Marky Post had any cards.
Oh. So that's the best you're going to get.
Well, unless I want to spend a lot of money on John Larroquette and Harry Anderson.
Well, I would spend a lot on Gerald Larroquette because in Star Trek 3 he was Maltz, and I love Maltz.
I know that. I just don't want to spend like $100 on an autograph card necessarily. I mean, there's some that I would. Just for some reason, not John Larroquette for whatever reason.
All right. Oh, hold on. I forgot to mention Chico. But who plays Matthew's best friend Eli on this show?
Matthew's best friend Eli, played by Adam Sadowski.
And you know where we brought him up previously on this podcast?
Second Chance / Boys Will Be Boys.
That's right.
He was the geeky looking one on that show, wasn't he?
Yeah, who wasn't part of the main friend group.
Well, I'm just thinking back to like the opening credits, and doesn't he like fall over on like a sofa or something like that?
No. You think of Davian Slade, Mike.
Oh, it's easy to get those ancillary characters mixed up.
And something I was finding out while researching the cast, Adam Sadowski was one of the judges because he specialized later in life in Rube Goldberg devices on Discovery Channel's Unchained Reaction, hosted by the Mythbusters.
Wow.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to say Unchained Reaction was hosted by Bill Cullen.
That'd be very impressive since he's been dead for 35 years.
Thank you, Greg.
Hey, we've got the technology where we can do this type of stuff with AI and whatnot. I'm not endorsing it, but also it should be added that Adam Sadowski, when we did this show originally back in 2020, he was alive. He passed away in August of 2021 from cancer at the age of 50. Now that I've brought the whole show down, how about we go over some episodes? I don't know what you guys want to do.
Oh, yeah, let's go over the episode, shall we? All right, Chico, let's start with the pilot, episode 1.
Enterprising Matt runs various scams using a vacant apartment as his base. He meets his match when quick-witted writer Norman moves in and begins dating Matt's mother, Eileen. Matt disapproves and is intent on driving them apart.
Spoiler, it doesn't work.
Should we go over who directed this episode, or should we go over a guest?
Why don't we go over who directed the episode first?
I think that's a great idea. Directing this episode, somebody we've talked about repeatedly as a director, but also known as an actor and occasional guest on shows like Password Plus. We're talking about Peter Bonners. You'd remember him as the dentist that worked in the same floor as Bob Newhart on The Bob Newhart Show.
But okay, the guest star playing one of Matthew's friends. Now, he wasn't well known at the time, but give it a couple of years, and he'll go on to do some good things. And that is the late, great River Phoenix. And speaking of River Phoenix, now, I guess it's kind of appropriate with the recent passing of Robert Redford. But I did get this recently, and I'm going to finally get a chance probably to watch it later this weekend. I got the 4K Kino Lorber Blu-ray of Sneakers. Okay, episode 2.
Put to the test. Matt's successful business selling answer keys to classmates has thrown a curve when Norman is hired as the substitute teacher.
What? Norman, the writer? How did he get to be a substitute teacher, Chico? How did this happen?
Wait. Why are you going to him when you have a certified professional teacher right here who can probably explain everything that you're wondering? Trying to do it in 1984 terms might be a little difficult, but I can translate it to you for 2025. Depending on your area, there are very few restrictions on who can be a substitute teacher. I know back 25, almost 30 years ago, I was looking at becoming a substitute teacher, but didn't have a bachelor's degree at that time. You needed to have a bachelor's. Again, we're talking about 97, 98. But now, you don't even need a bachelor's degree. I think some places will accept you as a substitute teacher if you even have just like an associate's degree. Or even, I think, some places, if you have a high school diploma, you could be a substitute teacher. That sort of reeks of desperation, but also at the same time, that's sort of where the teaching profession is going. They just can't get enough warm bodies. And also, you've got just boards of education, specifically states in the Midwest and the South, that, there's a reason why they're like 49th and 50th in education. I'm sort of speaking to you, Oklahoma. But no, I mean, seriously, he could be a substitute teacher if he has, in 1985 or 1984, I would guess at least a bachelor's degree, definitely if he has a master's degree. And if he's writing, he's got to have some sort of English/journalism degree. Makes sense.
Okay, episode 3, Chico.
Dating games. Matt's older sister, Julie, rejects Eli's invitation to the school dance. While Matt is engrossed in choosing his own date, his best friend Eli turns to Norman for dating advice. Dating with the enemy. Ooh.
All right, episode 4.
Night work. Matt struggles to impress Stacy, the hottest girl in school. Secretive about his new night job, all is revealed when Norman collides with Matt on his big date.
Oh boy, Norman's gonna fuck this up for Matthew on his big date. He's probably gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm going all the way with this girl. So I'm gonna have Norman act as my limo driver for this one big night. Ooh. Oh, episode 5.
Pajama party.
Why were you doing your George Takei when you did the laugh there, Greg? Was that really a natural reaction to pajama party instead of woo?
Sure.
Yeah, let's go with it.
Anyway, pajama party. Matt's party plans are ruined after Julie hijacks the apartment for her slumber party. Realizing the revenge potential of Julie's slam book, He schemes to discover its hiding place. See, this was Mean Girls before Mean Girls.
That's right. This movie had it ahead of its time about 20 years before Mean Girls. For all we know, Tina Fey might have gotten the idea from this episode of It's Your Movie. We can't prove it, but it's a possibility.
You know what's not a possibility, but a definite?
What?
In this episode, we have a character named Debbie, who I'm guessing attends this pajama party. How about played by Justine Bateman, Jason's sister? She went over from Family Ties over to another NBC show and said, hey, I'm going to help my little bro out. I'm going to be one of the attendees of the pajama party. I'm sorry, that's really nice of Mallory Keaton.
To help out.
Yeah, that's a good big sister. Absolutely.
Oh, episode 6, Chico.
Love letters. Distrust trumps romance when Norman and Matt both received love letters from secret admirers.
Oh, this must be one hell of a secret admirer for Jason Bateman. I'm guessing this is her playing Laura. This is a name we haven't mentioned ever, I don't think. Maybe when we originally covered this. Christy Swanson.
That's right. Yeah. But you know what this means, Chico? This episode has somebody who was on Knots Landing.
That's right.
Yeah, she played Michael's, I guess, sort of girlfriend he saves from the ocean drowning.
But she was in so much. I mean, she got enough credits towards her appearance in a week's worth of episodes of Win, Lose, or Draw.
Now, I need to mention one of my favorite Christy Swanson roles. People are going to say, Greg, you're probably going to say Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the original movie. No. I'm going to say the 1994 Charlie Sheen movie, The Chase. I fucking love that movie. That might be my mid-90s movie wings.
I was going to mention Hot Shots myself.
I'm just waiting for somebody to say that it made Christy Swanson's career. But no, what's going to make Christy Swanson's career is when she goes on a CNN travelogue show, when she goes to different bakeries, and it's called Christy Swanson Breaking Bread. Hey, that premieres, well, at the time you hear this, in a week and a half on CNN. I can't wait to see it.
The Tony Shalhoub Breaking Bread.
The Tony Shalhoub! Seriously. I gotta see if there's like an episode guide. Where is he going first? Why is CNN not promoting this?
Now, hold on, Mike. Do you
Yeah?
want to explain what the Zoom AI last week said this show was?
Okay, so, and I posted this on, I think, Instagram or on Facebook. Zoom AI gives us a little recap. Actually, it goes to Greg, and then Greg usually sends it on to me because I need to chuckle on Saturday mornings. And so I'm going through the AI transcript of what we talked about, and the Zoom AI called Tony Shalhoub Breaking Bread. They called it Tony Shalhoub's Bread Adventure. You tried, AI. A for effort. C minus for end result. I want to see where Tony Shalhoub is actually going to be on his first episode of Breaking Bread. Now, I mentioned last week, I saw an article that said he's going to go to Lebanon since that's where his heritage is from. But, you know, I want to know, is he going to go to like the Champs-Élysées on Paris and he's going to have a big baguette? Is he going to go to, let's say, New Delhi or to Mumbai and he's going to get some naan? I really want to know what he's going to be doing.
Yeah.
Okay, let me find out really fast. I don't want to hold up the entire show.
You know, for the first episode, we could make that a live show. We could watch Tony Shalhoub Breaking Bread, the premiere episode, and watch Tony Shalhoub
Go break bread.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually going to check on, damn it, if it'll work. Oh, no, it doesn't go far enough. I was going to check on Titan TV, but their schedule only goes up to the 3rd of October, and I think Tony Shalhoub's show is going to be on like the 5th of October. I think it's a Sunday show.
Okay.
Yeah, according to the Futon Critic, there are 6 episodes.
There should be more than 6 episodes of this.
Well, I think, Greg, you got to consider it sort of like Conan O'Brien, whatever it was that he did, Conan O'Brien Must Go.
Yeah.
You don't want to like give everybody like everything all at once. You do like 4 episodes, 6 episodes, tide people over for a year or a half a year, and then you release another 6 episodes or 8 episodes. That's how you get people in. So yeah, let him go to Paris, let him go to Lebanon, let him go to India. Give the people a little sampling. You don't want to give them the whole, excuse the phrase, since we're talking about bread here, you don't want to give them the whole loaf of bread. You want to give them a slice.
A slice. Yes. Okay.
A slice of shaloub.
Oh,
That
could
sounds dirty.
That could be a spin-off, Mike. A slice of shaloub.
That's when him and the ghost of Eddie Mecca go searching for the best pizza. Hey, it's me and my buddy Tony Shalhoub. We're looking at pizza all around New York City. Maybe.
None of us could do a Tony Shalhoub, though. That's the thing.
No. I could do probably an Antonio from Wings, but no.
Is doing a Tony Shalhoub an actual talent that one of us may have? I don't think anybody has ever said, hey, Mike, do a Tony Shalhoub impression. And I'll be like, we just made my career. There's my impression.
Okay, episode 7.
Dad and Me. Eileen asks Norman to keep an eye on Matt while she's out of town with Julie. After thieves clean out the Burton apartment, uh-oh. Norman and Matt join forces to win prizes on the game show Dad and Me.
Did they not vet contestants? Because there's one part of that that's not really true. The dad part.
I'm guessing that they did not give a shit in 1984. I mean, this is kind of like the same year Michael Larson went on Pressure Luck. The standards were very lax. Oh, hold on. Speaking of Pressure Luck. Oh, there's somebody's birthday today as we're recording this. The Whammy is turning 42 years old today. Whammy, are you very happy that today's your birthday?
No, because I found my first gray hair. This shouldn't be happening at 42 years old. Now I'm going to have to get Just for Men Whammy edition. Get that gray out of my hair.
Well, you could do an ad campaign with Keith Hernandez and Walt Frazier, Whammy.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I don't care if I'm breaking kayfabe. Him doing an ad with Keith Hernandez.
No play for Mr. Gray.
Well,
Bizarre Whammy, 24 years old today. No,
I was
Whammy.
waiting for Bizarro Whammy to come in, and I want to hear what his contribution to all this was.
Bizarre Whammy, you're not 24 years old today. I'm not? No. Oops.
No, wait. I want to know, Whammy, what do people or other whammies get a whammy for its birthday?
Any damn thing I want. Greg, I see that Clippers shirt. I want that Clippers shirt. Give it to me.
No, Whammy, you're going to have to consult Kawhi Leonard's fictional business about that.
Oh, jeez. I was waiting for that. Talking about Kawhi and his fake business opportunity where they're just siphoning money. That might be the end of his career, not even joking. Trying to get paid under the table or trying to circumvent the salary cap and all that.
Wait. Okay, I like Greg's shirt. I'm not going to take it. Chico, what's with the background? Carrie versus the Whammy. I don't remember a Carrie.
I think Carrie cleaned you out that one time.
That bitch.
Whammy, everybody remembers that big match he had with Kerry Von Erich at the Sportatorium in Dallas in 1985.
Well, Dave Meltzer only gave it 3 out of 5 stars because it wasn't at the Tokyo Dome.
Well, it's something considering the Tokyo Dome didn't exist until 1988, Chico.
No, that's true. The Big Egg was just a big dream in a big guy's head.
I thought you were actually going to talk about when I was wide receiver with Kerry Collins down in Carolina with the Panthers back like about 2008, 2009. Throw me the bomb! Throw me the bomb!
Couple names in this episode. Playing Jimmy Ray, the host of Dad and Me, Neil Thompson. Of the Kentucky Fried Movie, he played the newscaster. All I have to say is, the popcorn you're eating has been pissed in. Film at 11.
Oh shit, I thought I got unbuttered popcorn.
And playing Doreen, another podcast favorite, Twyla Littleton.
Oh, good heavens. Where should we start with her, Greg?
Are we going to talk about the one episode of the Matlock about the had Mac's mom in it?
If you want to.
We could talk about that.
Well, I was going to talk about when she was on the first week of Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour. And we all know who had the 36s that week.
But I just want to talk about Mac's mom.
And really, that's amazing if you ever see the episode of Matlock. And I know the name of it. I'm terribly sorry I know all this crap. You know, I can't remember my students' names, but I remember episodes of Matlock with just ancillary characters in it. It's an episode called The Black Widow. I believe it's a season 3 episode. It's like 1988, 89. Dang, did Sandy Martin age horribly between 1989 and 2005 when It's Always Sunny started.
I know.
She was a very beautiful woman in 1989. No lie. Go watch the episode. Beautiful woman. And she was actually the saleswoman at the lingerie store that Twyla Littleton was shopping at when Ben Matlock came in and investigated something. I don't remember, but I know when Ben Matlock saw the lingerie, he's like, ah! He started doing his Keith Morrison there.
Ah.
Something like that, yeah.
All right. Episode 8, Chico.
The Rival. Matt hires a handsome actor to fall into Eileen's life, sure that this will make Norman act jealous and insecure.
I'm guessing this is the guy. He plays Jack Wolf. The actor is
Jack.
What?
Jack Wolf.
Jack Wolf.
Kind of a fucking name is that?
Jack Wolf. But anyhow, he's played by Jeffrey Scott. Maybe what he's best known for is he played Mark Jennings in 45 episodes of Dynasty. Looks like second season and third season, 82 to 84. And I'm sorry, looking at him, he looks like he could play a Jack Wolf. He sort of looks like, Greg, I'm not even joking, he looks like Mr. Quizzer a little bit from Tune In With Me.
Oh, yes. Anytime we can make a reference to Tune In With Me, we're going to go with it.
You damn right we are, because that is like the best morning show in television. Forget the news, forget all the crap that's going on in the world. I want to see Bill the Cartoon Curator, Toonie the Tuna, and Mr. Quizzer showing me 80-year-old cartoons, Tom and Jerry and Looney Tunes and Betty Boop and Woody Woodpecker. I gotta say Woody Woodpecker. I'm really appreciating Woody Woodpecker as of late. I want to see that instead of whatever the networks or the local channels show. But yeah, he does have a little bit of resemblance to Mr. Quizzer.
Episode 9, Chico.
Top Dog. Matt's teacher disappears, and Matt hires a fake replacement so Norman won't get the substitute job.
Well, good. Now, Mike, I got a question.
Yeah?
You would be very fine if, like, Norman was the substitute teacher, right, for you?
You know, as long as the substitute teacher doesn't, like, take stuff of mine, which has happened in the past, I'm perfectly fine. Yeah, take care of the kids, follow the lesson, you know, make sure they don't kill each other, the kids. I'll be back the next day or 2 days or 3 days or whatnot. I would trust Norman with the kids. Maybe I wouldn't necessarily trust him with Jason Bateman, but I would trust him with my students, for example. Let's not talk about the substitute teacher, though, because the principal of the school makes his first appearance in this episode. We talked about him on the last episode on Rollout, Garrett Morris.
Yes.
And again, as we sort of teased last week, we're going to talk about him, about what, 2 weeks away? Yeah, I think early October we're going to talk about him.
Yo, I think you're right. Might be 2 weeks away, yeah. I think so, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, because we got something coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Episode 10. Don't leave home without it.
Gee, I wonder what this is about.
Matt cancels Norman's credit card right before Norman leaves for a secret vacation with Matt's mother.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that deserves an uh-oh, thank you, whoever said that. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm looking at IMDb about this episode. The trivia, and I didn't know this about Ernie Sabella. Apparently, Mr. Donatelli mentions that he has 11 toes.
Wow. He's kind of like Antonio Alfonseca when he had like all those extra fingers.
Okay, that is an epic reference that really, Greg, I think only you and I will understand, and I appreciate that.
He could be our spoiler without context this week, Antonio Alfonseca.
Seriously, if you want to do that, I know he had, I think, like his first Bowman card in like 94, 95. You can actually see the sixth finger like sticking off of his pinky, this little nub of a finger. Dead serious. I'm on the case.
Good. All right, so episode 11, we got a Christmas show. And it's called The Christmas Show.
Yeah, Norman doesn't feel like everyone else has the Christmas spirit. Or I guess you should say, the proper Christmas spirit.
Everybody has to get into the Christmas mood. David Garrison's got to put everyone in the Christmas mood. Because obviously it's going to be a couple of years before the that one mall in Chicago is going to have. What the hell is that in that Married with Children episode? What was Santa's newest reindeer? Was it like Donna or something?
Donna, not Donner.
I said Donna.
Okay, I thought you said Donner, like, you know, Donner the reindeer.
No.
Yeah, there was a reindeer named Donna. Yes.
Yes. And the freaking Santa duck on the Bundy's roof. David Rupert was there for it.
Yeah, he was the mall manager.
Yes.
We're just hitting all of the Married with Children references tonight. Stick around. Who knows what's going to come up the rest of this episode?
I'm just thinking to myself, he went from mall manager to supermarket manager. What a downgrade.
What do you mean, what a downgrade? He got to, in the kayfabe supermarket suite, got to run that supermarket.
Yeah, but
he used to
run a mall. Now he's running a supermarket.
Well, some people like running supermarkets, Chico.
And you know what? Bless him for that.
Okay, but now we're getting into the big episodes.
Starting off 1985 with a bang. The Dregs of Humanity, Part 1. When financial problems affect booking a band for the school dance, Matt and Eli create a fake band, The Dregs of Humanity. Things get sticky when Norman asks to interview the band for an article he's pitched to a local magazine.
We used this in our opener. Probably the second version of our original opener. So I guess we got to play the clip. Okay, are you guys ready? Here we go.
Hey, quiet. Thank you. Honored chaperones, dateless nothings. Welcome to Van Buren High School Homecoming Dance. Hey, get off. Thank you. Now, I would like to introduce a band to you, the likes of which you've never seen. Who are they? Where do they come from? Why would they play here? Who cares? Because these boys can rock and roll. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the dregs of humanity. Clap it off! Clap it off! Hey! I'm in love with a stranger. Betty is a man.
Now, we got to explain what's going on here as to how this illusion is being pulled off here. This fake band that Matthew and Eli have cooked up. So they just have like these skeletons in these costumes, and Eli is controlling them using like his feet and arms. And everybody's buying this shit.
And a backing track.
They Milli Vanilli'd this shit. It's like 5 years before anyone knows who they are, so don't worry about it. Oh, hold on a second. Mike in the chat sent us a photo of Antonio Fonseca's 6 fingers.
It fucking looks like AI.
It does look like AI. He's AI if he was brought to life.
Now, honest question. If we ran a picture of Antonio Alfonseca through AI, would he end up with 7 or 8 fingers?
He could end up with 15 fingers for all we know on each hand.
Or it could screw up really badly and give him 5. How much of a shock would that be? So we talked about this episode called The Dregs of Humanity Part 1. That implies there's a Dregs of Humanity Part 2, right?
Yes. Now, I should note that the cliffhanger of this episode in The Dregs of Humanity Part 1 is they're going to retire the Dregs of Humanity. It's like, okay, we had our fun. That's it. But then they get a call from the Palladium saying they want to book the Dregs of Humanity for a concert. And Eli's like, what do we do? And Matthew says, I say we go for it. And that's the big cliffhanger going into Part 2. But there was a problem when Part 2 aired. It got preempted on the East Coast because Ronald Reagan gave a speech in the Oval Office that night. So I got to ask, I want to channel him. Okay. President Reagan, are you here? Are you anywhere?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Reagan, I got to ask you, why did you preempt It's Your Move that night? I'm so angry you did that. You interrupted our cliffhanger for the Dregs of Humanity Part 2. You made a lot of people pissed.
I did it because I saw Nancy corner and I wanted to avoid looking at it. She probably was. Does that make the final cut? Boy, I wonder.
I just want some jelly beans now.
Yeah, after my little comment, I bet you do want some jelly beans to get that off your mind.
Now, hold on. I got an idea. In the final edit, we had Nancy, and then we're going to have that bleeped out. And then everyone's going to wonder what the hell we were talking about.
We can make that a contest. What did Ronnie Reagan say that got bleeped out?
Yeah, we could do that. It'd be hilarious. So it got preempted by Ronald Reagan. But the West Coast did get to see it. But eventually, when this did air in reruns, like on USA Network later and all that, people did finally all get a chance to see it. But Part 2 of the Dregs of Humanity, Chico.
So we have Norm's article. It is now published, and the popularity of the Dregs of Humanity explodes. Matt and Eli are swamped with offers for high-paying gigs, and fans clamoring to meet the band. Meanwhile, scammers crawl out of the woodwork, wanting their piece of the pie.
I'm going to jump in real fast, not related to this episode. I think we needed to do like an instant apology. We were talking about Twyla Littleton, guys.
Yes.
You do know she died in June of 2024.
Yes, I did do that. Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to get that off my mind because I didn't know that, and we're making fun of her breastises, and it's like we're talking about a dead woman now. That's not really like cool.
Well, it's not as embarrassing as me 2 weeks ago or last week about the guy on It's Not Easy.
Oh, I was afraid you were going to say the Natalie Wood joke again.
Again, Do not blame me for that joke. Blame my dad for that joke. And as you all know, my dad is an insane person, okay? He is an insane human being. I don't know how I came out of that, okay?
Oh, jeez, Greg, no! All I was going to say, Greg, is that Natalie Wood joke has been around for probably like 30 or 40 years. Your dad did not invent it. I heard it many, many years ago. He's just repeating something he probably heard on Carson or Letterman or something back in the day.
How do you know he didn't invent that joke?
I heard the joke like 30 years ago, 35 years ago. It's not a new joke. He didn't create it. Okay, now hold on. I'm searching up this on Google. I want to know where that joke came from. Where did the Natalie Wood floating joke come from?
Yeah, like Google AI is going to give you a satisfactory answer, Mike.
Well, hold on a second. The joke's origin. The mocking voice is said to have been heard by the Captain Wagner. What? I'm guessing they're talking about Robert Wagner. Yeah. It says, while on a boat in 1981, November of 81, Robert Wagner, Natalie Wood, and Christopher Walken had a fight, which Wood's husband admitted to in his memoir, Vanity Fair. So, okay, the mocking voice is said to have been heard by the captain and Wagner. The belief that this voice made a cruel joke of the situation contributed to the lingering jokes and conspiracy theories surrounding the incident. All that's interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, that doesn't really necessarily answer the question about where the joke came from.
I told you Google AI wasn't going to give you a satisfactory answer.
Well, I didn't know that Christopher Walken was on the boat. That, I think, is my interesting takeaway. Plus, also, I could see him be like, Robert Wagner, what happened to Natalie Wood? Why is she not floating? Does Wood really sink? Something like that. Natalie Wood needs more cowbell.
She might have had a fever that night. We don't know.
Maybe the water was to cool down the fever. I like where you're going there. Help us, Chico.
So we have a guest cameo in the form of Nina Blackwood as herself. Of course, one of the 5 original VJs and one of the 3 original VJs that could be heard on 80s on 8.
That's right, with Mark Goodman and Alan Hunter. And I always have 80s on 8 all the time whenever I have my Sirius XM on.
Well, I'm cycling between 80s on 8 and the local sports radio.
Okay, but now, Chica, we're going to go into a change in this show, going into episode 14.
Yes, a twist in the story. Matt Burton is caught in the act.
Oh?
When Eileen says that her boss is being difficult and giving her a raise, Matt decides to do something, and Norman gives him an idea of how he can do it. But when he's caught, Eileen finally learns just what Matt's been doing. And when she asks Norman to talk to him, he gloats, but she hears him, and he ends up in the doghouse as well.
Uh-oh.
How many uh-ohs are we going to have this episode? I don't have that many.
Yeah, you do.
Shut up. The audience doesn't know that. Funny how things work out. I had plenty of uh-ohs when this episode recorded, literally like 3 or 4 days ago, but now I've got no uh-ohs because my computer took a poop. That may actually stay in. I think that was really funny. Yeah, you have enough uh-ohs. Shut up. Nobody knows that.
No, hold on. Hey, Rock Hudson, what do you have to react on all these uh-ohs that we got on the show? Uh-oh.
We haven't played rock in a long time. That's a good one.
Episode 15. Eli's song.
Is this going to end with him saying, I love Brian Piccolo, and I want you to love him too?
When a reluctant Norman is appointed coach of the high school's losing soccer team, Matt persuades him to give Eli the opportunity of a lifetime and make him a second-string goalkeeper.
Sure.
Only a second string?
Do you really want Eli to be a first string goaltender? No.
Garrett Morse makes a return appearance as Principal Ellis.
Going through the cast, I know that Chico mentioned that Garrett Morris is in this episode, but I was taking a look at a character named Otto, played by Pete Schrum. I wanted to see how he comes into play into all this, especially if he's like a soccer coach or whatever. I don't think he's a soccer coach. I'm looking at his IMDb. Pete Schrum, when he was alive, he passed away in 2003. He was 7 feet 1/2 an inch tall. Well, first off, that could be a hell of a goalkeeper if you think about it, but you typically don't see really tall people playing soccer. He played a fisherman quite a bit. He was a fisherman on an episode of Herman's Head. He also played a longshoreman on an episode of Night Court, which I think is the one that Bull reconnects with his mother, because his mother was one of those women who lived on the high seas. Not even joking about that. Okay, hold on. He played Santa Claus in a movie? 7-foot tall Santa Claus in Trancers in 1984? Scare all the kids. It's Santa, but it's super tall Santa. I don't want to be by super tall Santa.
The only super tall Santa that worked was the Big Show in Jingle All the Way.
Wait, hold on. I think I found a great reference for him. His first role on IMDb. He apparently played Blutarski's dad on an episode of Delta House.
We haven't talked about Delta House in a long time.
I just think that's amazing. This 7-foot tall guy playing Blutarski's dad. I don't know. That just gives me like an interesting mental image in my head. But yeah, there you go. Pete Schrum. Now we can go to episode 16.
A woman is just a woman. When an old boyfriend of Eileen's, who's rich among other things, returns, the children are happy at the prospect, but Norman feels that he's going to lose her because he doesn't have what her ex lacks.
Ex-lax? Why are you bringing laxatives into this?
Because I'm a dummy who didn't read the thing.
Do you want to try that again then?
Yes, I do.
No, I have a question. Hold on.
Oh,
I got
no.
a question.
Oh, no. Greg's got a question.
Oh, Lord.
Could you imagine? Okay. Could you imagine Antonio Alfonseca holding like a jar of X-Lax with his like 7 fingers?
Where the hell did that come from? Oh, it came from the guy who came out of his dad's piss. Yeah, try it again. Let's see if this works better the second time around.
When an old boyfriend of Eileen's, who's rich, among other things, returns, her children are happy at the prospect, but Norman feels that he's going to lose her because he doesn't have what her ex has. But to everyone's surprise, she chooses Norman. A while later, they learn that her ex found another girl and married her in a lavish wedding, and Norman still feels inadequate. But when an ex...
I'm sorry. I like Greg's reaction there. Oh. Apparently that's the reaction to inadequacy.
But when an ex shows up, Norman decides to show Eileen how much he cares about her by rebuilding...
Not rebuilding!
Rebuffing! Jesus freaking...
Yeah, rebuild that X. We have the technology. We can rebuild this X.
But when an ex shows up, Norman decides to show Eileen how much he cares about her by rebuffing an ex in front of her. But Matthew, upon learning of the plan, decides to make a little alteration that shocks Norman too. Playing a character by the name of Eunice, Liz Sheridan.
Yes.
Mrs. Achmonic.
Yep. And of course, we can't be remiss about saying also Jerry's mom on Seinfeld.
And also, when I say Mrs. Achmonic, in case you don't know what show that goes with, she was the wife who lived next door to the Tanners on Alf.
Episode 17, The Experts. On Matt's advice, Norman and Principal Ellis make a successful investment in the stock market. Fortunes fall when they get cocky, and a talent contest is their only option to raise cash.
Yeah, they took Milo's advice to buy potatoes because what are potatoes best for, Chico?
Potatoes go with anything. You can boil them, bake them, fry them, flame them. They're the food of the 90s.
That's 1985. They don't know that this is the food of the 90s. Yeah, give it like 5 or 6 years.
Well, hold on, Mike. We're right in the middle. National Potato Month.
Are you dead serious? Did you really look this up?
No, that's in the freaking episode of Good Morning, Miss Bliss, Mike.
Wait, hold on! Guys, National Potato Month is in the month of September. We are in the middle of National Potato Month.
Oh, I bet TK Carter is very happy that this is National Potato Month.
You know who I really think appreciates that this is National Potato Month? Bill Cullen. All those potatoes.
You shut the fuck up, Mike. I haven't been on this show for a while because this show has been utilizing the ghost of Bill Armstrong. So I've been stuck on the fucking sidelines. But yeah, hot potato. But you know who really likes National Potato Month? Sean Astin. Potatoes.
And it's funny we mentioned all this with Bill Cullen and Hot Potato and Johnny Olson making his triumphant return. Game TV in Canada just started rerunning Hot Potato about 2 weeks ago.
And pass the buck.
And, oh, absolutely. And pass the and Chain Reaction. And Greg, they did show the entire first week with the 0.5 format. And that actually reminded me, and actually people may hear this at the start of this episode, I'm going to change the opening, I think, to, from the Frank's Place thing. I think I'm going to have Fred Grandy saying, $10.
How about that?
How about that? Here you go.
Playing Michelle, Katie Barbieri from Not Quite Human 2.
Oh, Not Quite Human 2. What'd you say, guys? Oh, Alan, we mentioned Not Quite Human 2. Oh, yeah, I was in that movie. Yeah, we know, Alan, you were in Not Quite Human 2. You were in the Not Quite Human trilogy. Yeah. Alan, do you have any thoughts about it, your move? No. Okay, Alan.
She was also in separate productions in both the US and Mexico. Her longest English language role is in Every Which Way as Ursula Van Pelt.
Is it a sequel to Every Which Way But Loose with that orangutan?
No.
Oh, I wish it was about that orangutan.
Are we talking about the same orangutan who played Mr. Smith?
Wait, he was the one in Every Which Way But Loose?
I thought he was. I could double check, but I'm pretty sure he was.
I didn't think we'd have a Mr. Smith reference in this episode, but okay.
Okay, I cannot find on the Mr. Smith IMDb page whether...
IMDb?
Yeah, IMDb. IMDb. Oh my gosh. I can't find on... Regardless, whatever the hell it is, I can't find if Mr. Smith was also in Every Which Way But Loose.
That might have been something that you thought of, like, oh, that's probably the possibility, but no.
Oh, yeah, that was just... Oh, no, hold on. CJ the Orangutan, hold on. He was in The Fall Guy, The Love Boat, Mr. Smith, obviously, Hill Street Blues, Any Which Way You Can.
But not Any Which Way But Loose.
They must have gotten, like, his brother to do Any Which Way But Loose. I'm on the case. I want to see what the orangutan was in Any Which Way But Loose. Any Which Way But Loose. Okay. So, yeah, maybe it was like his dad, since Every Which Way But Loose came before. Who knows? The orangutan who was in Every Which Way But Loose was named Manus the Orangutan, and he was on an episode of Fantasy Island, an episode of Chips. He was a monkey on an episode of Cheers in 1988. Boy, that's an old monkey.
Oh my God. Might be as old as J. Fred Muggs.
And yeah, he also played Clyde in Any Which Way You Can. And he was in Cannonball Run 2. How about that?
Oh, yes, Cannonball Run 2. You know who was in Cannonball Run 2, guys?
Is that the one with Jackie Chan?
Yeah, Jackie Chan was in that. Yep.
I was going to go with like an easy answer and say Dom DeLuise, but I think that was pretty obvious. And I sort of gather you have another name you were going to say.
Yeah, Joe Theismann was in Cannonball Run 2. But you know what other Joe was in Cannonball Run 1? Joe Klicko.
Interesting.
Oh, hold on. Do you know who plays a young California Highway Patrol officer in Cannonball Run 2? Chris Lemon.
You mean the Chris Lemon that wrote down the Jizzle Drizzle?
Yeah, before he was stalking Karen McKenzie.
And Telly Savalas was in that movie too.
That's right. So they both have connections to Kraka.
There is one more episode.
Oh no, I want to talk more about Cannonball Run 2 and Kraka.
And Jackie Chan, hello.
And Mr. Smith.
Look, we could talk about Mr. Smith. We could talk about Jackie Chan. We could talk about Kevin Dobson all night. But we got one more episode of this show, guys. We got to finish this.
Basically, Ron Levitt, Michael G. Boy, Pamela Norris, the writers of this episode, they knew their time was up. So they quickly penned goodbye, farewell, and amen.
Gee, I wonder what that title's a reference to.
Classic whodunit when someone sabotages Julie at the school's yearly cheerleading auditions. Matt and Eli play detective as they test theories, interrogating Julie's so-called friends and rivals. That's the show.
Okay. What happened?
When it first premiered, It's Your Move was part of NBC's OK Wednesday night, with Highway to Heaven, The Facts of Life, St. Elsewhere, and there's It's Your Move, smack dab in the middle between The Facts of Life and St. Elsewhere. That would put it against the CBS Wednesday night movie and Dynasty.
Oh, that does it. Yeah, you're not going to beat Joan Collins. I don't care how good Jason Bateman is. He's no match for Joan Collins. Because Joan Collins, she's going to get in cat fights with Linda Evans all over the place. And that's going to send all the horny men in 1984-85 to ABC.
And if the horniness didn't bring the men over from Dynasty, when Dynasty didn't air during fall of 1984, the baseball playoffs did on ABC.
Was pulled from the schedule for a bit, but it was brought back in the winter, but it was on Saturdays, which at the time was your family comedy night with Different Strokes, Double Trouble, Gimme a Break, and something called Behringers. What's Behringers? A primetime soap opera about the Behringer family in New York Dynasty, which owns the glamorous department store which bore their name.
Yeah, sure. People are going to watch a primetime soap about department stores. The rough and tumble world of department stores.
Is this going to be like Gimbals?
Oh, see, it ran the same fate as Gimbals. And for more about Gimbals, go back to the 1985 All-American Thanksgiving Day Parade on CBS. Because, oh boy, did we have a lot of fun with Gimbals. How they would go out of business. But hold on, do you know what replaced It's Your Move on Wednesdays when it moved to Saturdays?
Was it Night Court?
No. Sarah.
Well, also, let's get back to Saturday night because we didn't talk about the competition. You're not beating either of these shows in 1985. I'm sorry. Pick your poison. Do you want to go up against the second half hour of Airwolf? or do you want to go up against the second half hour of The Love Boat? You're not surviving either of those. And really, I don't have much ratings information besides it lasted one season and it's done. The 1 week that I have, which is April of 1985, I got 50 shows listed. Anybody want to take a guess as to where It's Your Move ended up?
46.
47. And actually, it was tied this week with Airwolf, of all things. The Love Boat was 33rd. But still, you're not beating like a legacy type of show like The Love Boat and Airwolf. I know that had a following back in the day. But still, basically tied for the second worst show on TV. Because there are 50 shows, but there are 3 at 47. Cover Up, It's Your Move, and Airwolf. And the worst show in television, kind of surprisingly, The Jeffersons.
Well, this would be the last season for The Jeffersons.
Well, I know that. It ran its course at that time, but just kind of surprising to see that.
It was never released officially on home video. It did rerun on USA from 88 to 92.
It is available streaming, but in Canada.
Oh, we're in Canada.
CTV has a retro kind of service as part of their streaming app. Yeah, you can watch all the episodes on there if you're in Canada. I don't know if they're still on there, but I know the episodes that are on a certain archive on the internet, they have a CTV watermark.
So you have to look way back for the CTV watermark.
Yeah, at an org with the archive. Dot.
It's like you put a random dot at the end there.
I put a period at the end of the sentence.
Well, you just said dot. I found that funny. Disregard me and let's wrap everything up.
Yeah, let's close it out. Okay, past Mike, close it out.
Past Mike?
Yeah, you did this months ago. This close.
Past Mike. You can find us at our website, itwasathingontv.com, on Facebook at It Was a Thing on TV Podcast, and elsewhere at It Was a Thing on TV. You can find us on any podcast player, and we're also on YouTube, where you can subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with our releases, including what's coming up next time. Okay, Current Greg, what's coming up next time?
Oh, what's coming up next time is the show I put for my viewer's choice last year. We put it off for a long time, and now we're going to finally have to do this, okay? What if we did Bosom Buddies in the 2010s, but with blackjack and hookers? People would probably say, Greg, that's a stupid fucking concept. Bosom Buddies was great, but it's outdated. You won't have any Tom Hanks or Peter Scolaris for it. And I'd probably say, yeah, you're right. But some jackass probably would hear this and be like, you know what? That's a good idea. I think I'll do that too. No, don't do that. And you'll find out more about that when we visit next time right here at It Was a Thing on TV. For myself, Greg, for Mike, and for Chico, please be kind to each other. And we'll see you back here next time. Row!
Let's all be there this fall and meet Jason Bateman, a smooth-talking teenager.
Hormonal problems again?
He's got style.
Huh? Please, sir. Papa breast me.
And he's got flair.
Gee, he's good.
He thinks he's got it made.
I was born for this kind of work.
But what he doesn't know is that on the other side of this door, he's about to meet his match. It's Your Move, Wednesday night, starting this fall on NBC.